a high quality video setup is generally probably important to a lot of us. And if you're wondering why I'm not looking at the camera, it's because I want to set something up and show you guys today how I'm doing all of this. Now, some of you may have noticed that this, what you're watching, is probably not 4K. There is a difference between 4K and HD video. There's also, of course, obviously a difference between webcam video, like what you can get from a Mac, and something I can get from this. Now, I've decided to go with a fancy schmancy setup. I have a microphone here, I have a mixer, an enhancer, I have a camera, and all these fun things. And I have lights, and I have controllable lights over there. But the reason is I really enjoyed those vlogging and high quality videos that were being made. And so I've been trying to kind of enhance my setup and make it work really nicely for my needs and not pure vlogging needs. Though I did now get a new tripod. I'm going to walk around with this thing later today and test this out for vlogging. But I still ended up a little bit with well, a quality issue. And so I've finally come up to and down to a way that I can set up all my video stuff. And I want to teach you how you can get something similar for a reasonable budget. So first and foremost, you will have to spend money. There is really no way around not spending money to get this kind of setup. You don't have to do everything I did. You can go much more crazy and expensive, of course. But even on the low end, you will have to spend some money. If you have some gear you can use, also that's going to save you money. But you will have to end up spending something. Overall, for everything that I have here, excluding the computer itself, it was about a grand and a half for the camera. This is a Canon R. This microphone was 400. The boom arm was 100. Don't quote me on that one. The various miscellaneous cables, probably all in all the cables themselves probably cost me anywhere between probably around anywhere between 50 and 100 or 150 bucks. Let's just say 100. Give it an easy number. That light was 30, 40 bucks. That light itself was 50 bucks. The two audio thingies over there, which I'll get to, were right around I think about two. Actually, no. The mixer itself was 400. The enhancer was 250. And I had a few more pieces, but I've simplified it these days, also because it broke. So it used to be a little bit more complex than it is now. So let's go through what you'll really need. First, you'll need your pretty self. I do, by the way, a quick side note, I would highly recommend doing some makeup and styling yourself. This is not a makeup tutorial. It's not this video. I do plan to do another one eventually. But I would recommend not being a shiny bowling ball. That's probably bad. So you'll want a better minimum kind of to powder yourself so you're not shiny. But so bare minimum of things you'll need. You'll need some camera that can record in true high definition, and that is not a webcam. Webcams do HD, and that is just a technical definition of they can get you a resolution, the size of the image, that is HD. That's 1920 by whatever the heck the height is. That is HD. This camera can do, I have the Canon EOS R. I'm currently recording in full HD, so that's the 1920 by whatever, and you can use this all the way up to 4K. There's a new one coming out with 8K video, and I have no idea what that's going to be. But so this is a Canon EOS R doing 1080p, so full HD. This is kind of nice. Then that connects to my computer. This one, I don't connect it via HDMI out. I connect it directly with a USB cable to my computer. Why? Because I didn't feel like buying extra tools, though that does then require me to have special software which can use the camera. If I did pure HDMI out to a capture card, which is what we're doing now and setting up for Ari, is it's camera to capture card to computer. Though we're waiting for one more part to come in. So anyway, at a better minimum, you'll need a camera that can do something like this. And there's many at various price ranges. Canon is a good enough company. That sounds wrong. They are a good company that can help you well, they won't help you, but their cameras are ones that you'll want because they work pretty well for a lot of this. You can also use Sony's. So things, a quick set of cameras you can use much of the Canons. Look at for a direct connection. With Canon, you can connect it directly with a USB cable and do what I did. But again, you'll need software, and I'll get to software in a bit. Or you can use something like the Elgato Stream Deck 4K, which is what we got for Ari, and then you have a little bit of a limited set of options, but it'll still then do a direct capture from HDMI out into your computer, which is probably what a lot of you will want to do because you won't want to do what I did. And because the software is now doing the processing, it requires extra work on my computer, which always complicates things. So you'll want a camera. Second, for the camera, you'll want a decent lens. The reason why, and I'll show you, is pardon the noise. So if I change the camera to, so this is, remember, this camera is currently on full HD. If I change it, because it's a little touchscreen, if I change the video mode to 4K, it zooms in. Now, it does have a little problem of changing the focus, so don't mind it not being focused. But now that it's in 4K, there we go, it focused. It looks much better, I think. The problem is it has a crop. The crop being because it's in 4K and has to process so much more data, it has to now, well, it has to crop and use less of the sensor, which means it looks zoomed in so that it doesn't overheat. That is why I keep the camera for my uses at HD. I'm going to change that back because I then get the size I want, which brings me to point number 2, which is the lens. If you do want, on almost every single camera, use HD, you'll want to get a lens that matches the distance and the look you're going to be at. So if I want to do full HD, I can't be using this lens. Because of the heavy crop, I'll have to buy a new lens. And I do have a lens available, but that's on the other camera, so I can't be using that one because it's currently in use. Yay. So I am going to eventually buy a new lens that allows me to use HD, but I'm worried about quality if I don't pay a lot of money. But we'll find out soon enough, I guess. From there, after you have the camera and the lens, you'll want also a dedicated power supply, because if you're going to be on video for a long time, that is going to drain the battery very fast, even in modern cameras. Sorry to say, the battery's going to go quickly. That's one of the biggest weights of cameras, especially professional cameras, is the battery packs. Because, well, and all the additional tools you can attach to it, because you're going to need a lot of power. So what I have here is one, of course, I have the USB cable from the camera connected to the computer. That's one cable. And then I have a dedicated power plug. It connects to the wall outlet, and then it's in the shape of a battery that just goes into the battery slot. And that gives me a dedicated unlimited power to this camera. Depending on the camera, you might not need to have the memory card inside. You might, but might not need to. So, it depends on camera. And on this one, and on most Canons, I think you do not have to have the memory card inside. I, though, do keep a memory card in there because I have a tendency to forget to put one back in if I take the camera out. Now, so we talked about camera, lens, power supply, USB cable. You also will want you won't have to get a high quality tripod, but you'll want a tripod that's good enough to sit in the place that you need it. I happen to have I don't have a fancy tripod. I have a decent tripod, but I do have a special tripod head that I bought that allows me to a little bit more freedom on how I can style is not the right word, how I can position this, this camera. The reason is because the room that I have here, right behind the camera, and you can't see this obviously, right behind there is a window. So I really don't have space to put this further back, which means that this tripod sits right on my desk with one leg going straight down behind the desk and two legs sitting on the desk just so it can align, stay where it is. So you'll want a tripod that can do things like this or align in such a way or stand in such a way that you'll be able to then, make this thing look straight right at you. So that's what you want. I do recommend though getting a tripod head. Forget a tripod. At least if on the tripod, get one good enough where you can switch the tripod head, which is important because you will want any type of, sometimes you'll want a ball head, which is very useful. Some come with various functionalities, various abilities to turn, various connection options. But one thing I do highly recommend is with a quick release. A quick release for the tripod head means that you can then easily unclick it and then just take the camera out and go along, wherever you need to. For me, that is super important, especially if because I am planning to get into proper vlogging. So I will want to be able to unhook the camera easily from this tripod, put it on another tripod with a similar head attachment, and go on from there. Now, so we talked about the camera. The other thing is, though, depending on the camera, you will have to forcibly put it into video mode. I learned this on the hard way on this one, is that while you can do video from photo mode, you'll have to put it specifically in video mode to, do video like this, right? And then I also did not put it on full manual because I am sitting here with the office, and this is an open window. Well, big window, not open because it's winter. But I'm sitting here with this window, and sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's fully sunny, sometimes it's raining, all in the span of 5 minutes. Welcome to Chicago weather, right? So the weather patterns change, and I needed this thing to automatically adjust the quality, or at least the several options, while at least leaving me with a focal, or at least aperture size, so I can have that being blurry and my face be sharp, while adjusting everything else automatically. So that's what I set it up as. You'll probably want to do something similar because, like I said, you probably don't want to go to full manual because that's a lot, unless you have somebody right behind the camera, which many of us won't. You'll want to have the camera be in reasonable high quality, set some settings, but then let it handle the rest. Now, in terms of the microphone, this is a Heel PR40, at least when I bought it, cost $400. This is a really old shock mount. So let me show you. You will want a decent microphone. Which microphone you buy, that is 100% completely up to you. There's a bazillion microphones of various types, gives you various vocal sounds. Some make you sound deeper naturally, some don't. Some are more or less made for a NPR type interview sounds. Some are made more for cinematography sounds. There's a lot. So pick one within your budget that you're content with and start there. You will want probably also a boom arm. You might not want the microphone to sit on your desk because then you'll get all the little tappy sounds and potentially a whole bunch of feedback from your desk in those things. The other option is to buy a shotgun mic. A shotgun mic sits somewhere around the camera and it points towards you, but it's not attached like this one is right here. It's somewhere over there, should be close, either above or to the side, and it's pointed right at your mouth, and like a shotgun, it picks up sounds from this one direction usually pretty well. Again, price ranges vary from about $100 to several grand. Pick one that is good enough for you. The ones I've been looking at generally range around between $250 and $400. I'm not willing to make that investment just yet because this one works really well for me, and I have not had a need for a shotgun mic, though when I am going to be doing vlogging, I will have to get one. Now, that brings up the question of why not just a lav mic? The problem with lav mics is then you always have to have something attached here and it shows for the most part. That's why shotgun mics are generally preferred to lavs. Lavs are okay if you're doing a no video interview. So, food for thought. Then you also want cables. This is an XLR cable because this is an XLR microphone. XLR just being the connection type. That then, twisty, connects all the way to the enhancer gate. The enhancer gate kind of normalizes the audio and helps boost this microphone because depending on the microphone, while they can pick up things properly and well, they still need that audio gain to be kind of pull them up, like there are transformers, not the show, for power, and kind of lift the power up and make it stronger. Same thing. You need some extra power boost to enhance the signal so that it can be then transformed and worked into a nice, softer, warmer audio. From there, it goes into my mixer. I have a mixer simply because originally I planned to have multiple inputs for various audio inputs and kind of have some fun controlling things that way. It didn't work out that way. But either way, you still will want some sort of mixer-like item so you can boost audio further that way if you need to. Add additional audio inputs. For example, if you're doing phone interviews, there is a way to connect this thing directly to a mixer, it's on this one, and get audio straight from a phone. Me from here, color from here. There's a lot of fun things you can do with a mixer. That one also actually does also audio effects, which that was really a mistake on my part to buy that one, but still good and has a lot of inputs, which is kind of nice. But there, very importantly, that then goes to an external audio card. Most computers will not be able to accept direct input from a microphone, an XLR microphone. And there are several tools. You can skip all the stuff I got and get one little box. I forget the names, and I'll put the link in the description later. But there are some XLR to USB type audio capture card box mixer type things all in one. That is probably a good idea. Those generally start at 150 and go, I think, up to like 800. You can probably find more expensive ones depending what you're looking for. But either way, you will want some external device to then take that audio input, either directly from the microphone or from the mixer and these things, take the audio in, connect to USB to your computer. Why USB? Because it works well enough. You know, if you're doing high-end events, probably not USB. For most of us, a USB external audio card is going to be more than good enough, and it's going to give us very good audio because it has more than enough bandwidth and data quality to get us the audio quality that we need. So there's that. Now the question is, how do you put all this together, right? So this app, I have multiple windows or screens, I should say. So the camera, well, for live streams like this, the app I'm using is called Ecamm Live, and it captures both the video from the camera, that's one stream, the audio, second stream, and combines them and then sends it out to wherever I need to. In this case, it's sending the audio signal out to a platform called Restream. So Restream.io, they allow me to send one stream and then they restream it, hence the name, they recast it, whatever you want to. That's another app, by the way, Recast. A Recaster? There's a few of these apps that basically let me do multi-streaming. So one stream then that gets multiplexed into multiple streams. So this video is currently going out simultaneously to YouTube and to Facebook places. So that's kind of nice. Do you need that? No. How about this app, the Ecamm Live? Do you need Ecamm Live? No, that's a Mac specific software as far as I know. But I got it specifically because it does then the conversion tracking connection of a Canon camera to the audio signal without any additional hardware. If I didn't use Ecamm Live, I would be using probably OBS. It's a very popular software with a digital capture card, probably, again, just like I got for Ari, the Elgato Cam Link 4K. I probably get the same thing for myself, and then have OBS do all these magic things. The problem with OBS on a Mac is it can't do the virtual webcam, because one of my goals was also, and the reason I'm using Ecamm Live is that allows me to, do these things. Those little, where's that thingy? There it is. That thing, it allows me to do that. And I have overlays, and I have a few different types of overlays. I have overlays for it being on. I have my regular one. I have the my little face here and the computer screen. So this software for me was the right choice because it then is, so the camera itself directly is not the webcam. The software is the virtual webcam that my computer can then use for everything. For me, that was important for the way I do things, because this allows me to directly send the signal, the live stream signal out, but also through Ecamm Live, I can use a virtual cam plus my overlays on a Mac. On Windows, you wouldn't need something like Ecamm Live because OBS would be able to do the virtual cam piece for you, not on a Mac, sadly. So there's that. So I think that's it, almost, at least for the hardware and most of the software so for streaming, for initial one simple little stream, I use Ecamm Live. For restreaming, I use Restream.io. I stream to multiple places. For regular screen recording on a Mac, I use ScreenFlow for regular screen recording and capturing this. For editing, if it's a simple thing that I'm recording my screen from already in ScreenFlow, I use ScreenFlow for editing. For everything else, I use Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. I don't think I really use anything else. I've been trying to use Adobe Premiere Rush. I still don't really understand that app. It's kind of weird. Adobe Spark Video is kind of fun. There's that. But yeah, that's my full setup, really. My goal eventually is to upgrade, or at least get a new cheapo lens so I can do 4K, and we'll see if that lens gives me good enough quality, but eventually get a proper super high quality lens to do 4K with. But a lens like that costs around 2 to 3 grand, and I don't have that spare money at the moment. I will eventually be changing the shock mount and the microphone so I can get a different audio profile. And honestly, oh, and getting a shotgun mic. That's eventually my goal, so I can then be recording some higher quality audio when I'm walking around doing some family photos and some walking around business type of vlogging. So that's my audio video setup. You can have something similar for a few grand. So again, some quick prices. This camera, $1.5 grand. This lens was 500. Microphone 400. Miscellaneous cables and doohickeys 100. Audio connection probably anywhere between 200 and 600 is kind of what you're probably looking for. So for a setup like this, you're looking at a bare minimum, all in brand new, you're probably looking at bare minimum of 2.5 grand, easily going way up from there, 3-4 grand for something reasonable. If you want to get an even higher quality camera, better lenses, your costs add up. If you want to go really high end, you could get something like a Canon, what is it, C200 or whatever it's called, and that's going to be 20 grand, and then get some really high quality lenses, probably another 20 grand. You can go really crazy with this. Reasonably starting out, something like this. You can even get a cheaper camera that can do 4K. The new Canon 50M, don't quote me on that, does pretty well and can still do this. I don't know if it does 4K, but it can do video like this. And this already looks far better than a webcam, because camera's right here, my computer's right here. I have a Mac, and the Mac webcam it's HD, but it doesn't compare to this. Not even close. I had before I got set this up, I was using a Logitech webcam little add-on thingy. Not even close. So that all said, do you need to spend 2.5-3 grand setting this up? If you have a Canon digital camera, a DSLR, you can probably already set this up just for on the camera side. All you will really need to get started and test this out is a USB cable to connect the camera to your computer, some software to make sure it works, or a video capture card. And in that case, you'll need an HDMI cable and a reasonable microphone. You don't have to get one like this. There's a lot of good ones you can get for anywhere between $50 and $150. And so that's all you'll probably need to get started. So if you have a DSLR, you can probably connect it to your computer currently. If you don't have a DSLR, then you will have to buy something. Do you have to get a DSLR? No. But they work. What I have is not a DSLR, by the way. The Canon EOS R is not a DSLR. It's a mirrorless camera. Similar idea, different technology on the back end. Makes things a lot easier, I think. You can also, of course, get an actual camcorder type cam thingy. Different story altogether. That's not covered in this video because I haven't really used one in a very long time. But yeah, so that's today's video. Quick setup of how I did things, how I set things up. Camera directly to computer through software, audio from microphone through a few little tool thingies to a USB card to computer, connected via Ecamm Live for live streaming, connected via the regular computer audio and video inputs for every other software that I use. So that's my setup. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions on how I set this up or would love more details, let me know and let you know in the comments. Thanks much, everybody. Bye.